I could like pull you through the camera and shake you, you are gonna have to become somebody if you wanna be successful in this industry, right? I feel my preaching voice coming on. Forgive me, your girl going through the coaching certification and she's hot. If you want to be one of the life coaches that make money, regardless of whether you get a certification or not, you're in luck because I'm gonna give you the real, the raw, and the nitty gritty in this video, starting now. Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time online life and business coach, as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things, and I'm a soon-to-be certified life coach, which I know might come as a surprise to some of you, especially if you've been around my channel for any period of time, because one of my most popular videos is how to be a six-figure life coach without a certification, which is what I did. In fact, I actually became a seven-figure life coach without a certification. However, now I'm actually in the process of getting my own program certified, and so by virtue of that process, I needed to get certified myself. However, I will say, as I've gone through the process, some of the criticisms that I've had around coaching certifications have held true. And in particular, I'm noticing that if you're not mindful of some of the things that I'm gonna cover in this video, you'll end up being one of two life coaches. That is, the life coaches that make money and the life coaches that don't. So if you want to be one of the life coaches that make money, regardless of whether you get a certification or not, you're in luck because I'm gonna give you the real, the raw, and the nitty gritty in this video, starting now. All right, as I said, this is kind of a video that's really come to me by virtue of going through, my coaching program. And, while I've enjoyed the process overall, there's definitely things that I would like to see be improved in the overall certification process. And one criticism that I've had of most coaching certifications, even before I went through my own certification, was the really the lack of focus around building your business. I've said that for years on this channel, that a certification can be great. I have nothing against it. Get one, don't get one. I didn't have one for years. I'm going to have one now. I'm going to be offering my own pretty soon. But the biggest criticism that I've had is that all of them have been focused almost exclusively on the technique of coaching, which I get and is great, and helping people feel more confident in their ability to coach others, but not a lot of focus on business building. And I can say this even from a program that says that they help you with business building. Oftentimes it's really not to the depth that it needs to be in order for coaches to be successful after they go ahead and get their certification. And I think that's really important because I know there are people that are spending upwards of $30,000 in order to get certifications, and they're walking away, and even though the certification said it was going to help you build your business, they're still like, okay, great, maybe I got my website together, but they don't really have the knowledge that they need in order to really set themselves up and stand out from the rest of the crowd. And so that's really what I wanted to cover in this video. Coaching certification aside, that is really just what kind of sparked my idea to even do this video. But I really wanted to cover this idea that I'm realizing that in the online entrepreneur space, in the coaching space, but especially in the life coaching space, there's really only two types, right? There are the types that get paid what they're worth, that can really command any type of pricing. I think about Tony Robbins, who, rumor has it that he charged upwards of $1 million, right, for one-on-one coaching, but you have like ex-presidents and sports athletes who are working with him, and then sets the price for his programs, and people are flying from all over the world in order to be a part of what he has to offer, right? So you have coaches at that level who basically can charge whatever they want to charge. They're well known in the space, and they're really fully living out their passion, and they're not begging for anybody to work with them. But then I find that the vast majority of coaches, and especially the vast majority of life coaches, unfortunately don't fall into that camp. They fall into the other camp, which is the camp that barely makes money, the camp that is not full-time, and the camp that is being nickeled and dimed to death, right, by clients, that are being haggled by clients, that are charging extraordinarily low prices for their coaching, and really are having a hard time separating themselves from the pack. And the reason why I kind of tie this to certifications, even though, again, I have nothing against certifications per se. I do have something against how many of them don't provide even many of the strategies that I teach for free on this channel when it comes to building your business. But I find that many people come out of programs and they have more of a commoditized mindset. And so what I mean is that oftentimes the programs will teach you how to coach in a very specific way, a way that's recognized, a way that's very easy for most people to understand and to successfully coach their clients. But because so much of the focus has been on the coaching technique, you end up graduating many other life coaches with a certification who all have the ability to coach via that same technique. and there's really nothing that sets you apart. And so I find that a lot of coaches are struggling to get clients even after they're coming out of certification programs, but even if they haven't been certified, because there is no differentiating factor and there is no brand. And so what I really wanted to come on this video here today is to like implore you, if I could like pull you through the camera and shake you, is to get you to understand that you are gonna have to become somebody if you wanna be successful in this industry, right? I feel my preaching voice coming on, because I'm like hot about this today. I don't know what's gotten into me. Maybe I woke up on the wrong side of the coaching bed, so to speak, but I think this all boils down to, I'm tired of people thinking that they can live life kind of, to be frank, the average way that they've always done, and that they can get extraordinary results doing average things, living in an average way. And I don't necessarily blame people, because I think mass marketing, I think corporate America has really trained most of us, even the education system to some degree, has trained most of us to commoditize ourselves. Many of us don't know what is actually special about us. We don't know how to stand apart or how to set ourselves apart. And so even when we go into business, we go in with that same commoditized mindset that has been beat into us, right? With whether it was school or, going into corporations. Many of us are very used to this very regimented process of, oh, I have to make my resume just so. And nowadays, because of AI, we're even taking the originality out of our resumes because we don't want it to get caught up by the ATS system or whatever the thing is called. I haven't been in corporate America since 2016, so I don't even know what the gadgets are that they're using nowadays to filter through the resumes, but we're getting like so used to now being beat down by algorithms and trying to make everything the same so that it passes through. It's almost like a herd mentality where we're so used to, how can I remove my individuality? How can I make myself less of who I actually am so that I can be accepted by this entity, this organization, this company, this whatever, that is going to give me a stamp of approval and hopefully give me a job or whatever it is, or give me a certification or a degree or whatever it is. And so because that mindset is so ingrained, we then step out of, these systems, whether it's we're leaving corporate America, we got our certification and now we're starting our own coaching business, and we still have that commoditized mindset in mind. We still think that we can be average Jane Joe, we can be average, John Doe, and now because we have a piece of paper or even because we have the skill set, we can just, slap a website up there and, turn the light on, turn the open for business light on, and people are supposed to flood to us the same way that if we, submit a resume, hopefully some company will be interested and invite us to an interview. And I'm here to tell you, that's not how entrepreneurship works, that's not how online business works, but that is particularly not how life coaching works, because coaching, actually contrary to popular belief, I believe is one of the most high integrity businesses if you do it right, because you can only be successful if you embody the very thing that you are selling. And this is what a lot of people don't understand, because there are a lot of marriage and family therapists who have terrible marriages themselves, parenting, psychologists who can't control their own children, accountants whose finances are a mess. Like, it's very common to receive expertise or to pay so-called experts who don't have their own house in order, but because they have an academic understanding of something, our society says, oh, well, they have the right to train you on this. And so because we're so used to that belief and that mindset, we then get into these coaching businesses and we don't put any emphasis on who we are as a person. We just think, okay, I just need to know, how do I coach somebody? What's the steps? How do I get my website together? And then we're waiting for the floodgates to open, and then we wonder why it's not happening. And then there's all this complaining around, oh, the coaching industry is too crowded. Everybody's calling themselves a coach, That's not the issue, okay? The issue is not the industry is too crowded. The issue is there's not enough people standing up and being a coach of one, right? Being one, a coach of themselves, and standing out and operating in a lane of one. The reason why Tony Robbins, after 30 years, or Ayanna Van Zandt, or even Oprah, even though I know she wouldn't consider herself a coach, or Lisa Nichols, or some of the big names that we think about to this day, is not because they did what everybody else did, but they decided that they were going to be somebody, and they stepped into their authority as someone who wants to make a big impact in the world, and they branded themselves around that, and then they offered their uniqueness to their work. And so I am imploring you, if you watch my channel, you watch all of the different coaching videos, you're trying to figure out how can I start an online business, how can I share my expertise, understand that there are techniques and strategies that you can learn. I teach them, right? I talk about them in my programs all the time. My flagship program, the Next Big Name Bootcamp, literally tells you everything you need to do from A to Z. Like, it's literally the process that I walk the clients through, that I do done for you work through, okay? So, and I have programs and trainings and even offerings where we'll just do it for you, right? So it's not a matter of how do I do the things, but I find that if you are not the somebody, you can be plugged into any marketing system, any coaching certification system, any system on earth, and it's still gonna fall flat because there's nothing unique about you. And so yes, there are two coaches, right? The ones that make money and the ones that don't, but also the ones that see themselves as somebody and see themselves as a big name, and the ones that see themselves as just little old me, the same just little old me person that I was when I was working my 9-to-5 job. You can't see yourself as just that person and then think that you're gonna have a deluge of clients coming after you, because people are attracted to confidence, people are attracted to leadership, and people are attracted to those who walk with a sense of destiny towards their own purpose and a sense of authority over their own life and mastery over their own skills. And you cannot have that, you do not demonstrate that if you are doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. So forgive me, your girl going through the coaching certification and she's hot, right? Because I'm like, wow, I before had these criticisms from afar, from the outside of, a lot of them aren't gonna teach you what you need to learn, in order to build a business. Now I built my business, so I'm fine, right? I'm just here to learn the technical aspect of coaching and then, apply that to my own coaching program. But I see that there are many others that are going through the same program who don't necessarily have the business experience that I have, who are in for a rude awakening if they think that they can just leave the program and that they're just gonna be, all great and hunky-dory. And they don't understand this concept of, as you really have to see yourself as the leader, as the person that you endeavor to be. To be quite frank, there is no like, oh, I just wanna, quit my job and just, be a coach and charge $150 Like, that is a myth, right? And people are quitting their jobs thinking that they're just gonna build a quiet coaching practice. They're just gonna charge $150 an hour and, they're gonna make full-time money and, it's all gonna be great and we're just gonna live a quiet life and ride off into the sunset. You're in for a rude awakening. You might get a client here or there, but by no means will you earn enough in order to be able to quit your job. Either you are, not a name at all and you're not making any money, or you are a name in your particular lane in your industry. Those are your two choices. There is no in between. Either you set up yourself to be prominent and to be visible and to be known and to have a big brand and to create lots of content and to coach lots of people and, to be a person that's really out there, or you're not. But there is no in between. Either you're the coach who's not doing those things and is not making any money, or you are the coach who is. And it doesn't matter whether you have a certification or not. If you don't have this level of authority, confidence, positioning, branding yourself, putting yourself out there, and truly believing that you are the person called to do the impact that only you are called to do, I hate to break it to you, but it's gonna be rough out here. And so if there is like one thing that I could do for everybody, it is just to remind you that you become the person that you ultimately desire to be when you decide, not when your circumstances or the amount of clients that you have or all these external things in your life say that you're allowed to be that person, right? I give the example all the time. Many of you know my story of how I started out in engineering. I had a full ride engineering scholarship. I got bitten by the entrepreneurial bug, quit going to class, started to build this business on the side, and not surprisingly, my grades tanked and I ended up losing my scholarship. And so it ended up becoming this journey where I had to really kind of dig myself out of my hole and teach myself self-discipline habits, which is how I got into life coaching. And at the time, my specialization was in self-discipline. But I really kind of build my grades and build my success in school from the ground up, from having that kind of setback. And how I did it was not saying, I'm gonna show up as an A student when my transcripts have all A's, or I'm gonna go speak to the teaching assistant, or I'm gonna go to office hours, when I have a 3.5 GPA. No, I had to see myself and correct my identity and say, you know what? I am an A student. I am a magna cum laude student. I've just been slipping for a little bit, but I'm gonna show up as a student that I know myself to be, and I will wait for everything around me to conform to that identity. That's what I did. And so it was a solid 2 semesters that I continued to show up as that A student, as that magna cum laude student, even though my grades were in the toilet, but my identity never shifted. I still believed that I was that person, and lo and behold, my grades caught up, and yes, I actually graduated magna cum laude after formally losing my scholarship. And so it is the same process in your coaching business. If you think that, oh, I'm just gonna get all of these, external validations, and then I'm just gonna, put my shingle out there and, have my website, and I'm gonna wait to become a success, you're actually never going to be a success. You're gonna have to decide to be that top coach. Sorry, I'm like slamming things here. You're gonna have to decide to be that top coach, to be that name, to see yourself as that person now, and to start acting and doing the things that that person would do. And that's when the clients show up. And so I just feel like this is my public service announcement, because I know so many people are looking for a career change. They're Googling how to be a life coach, and many of them are landing on my videos. And there's one video that I hope you land on. I hope it is this one, because this is the truth that you need to hear if you want to be the actual coach that actually does something, not just with their business, but truly with their lives, right? Because what I'm talking about is what you need to have from a mindset standpoint, not just to be successful in business or financially, but truly to be successful in any arena. So as I see it, right, I haven't been proven wrong just yet. There's really only 2 types of coaches in this industry. There's the ones that make money and the ones that don't. But if you want to be one of the coaches that make money, you're gonna have to stand up and say, I see myself as that big name. I want to be the authority. I want to be the next big insert name here in my particular lane, in my particular industry. You're gonna have to take the steps to actually do it. So if any of this resonated with you, again, this is like my life's work, because it's more than business. It's about pulling out the actual purpose, like the God-given purpose and potential that is in you, and showing you, one, how to monetize that so that you are not giving all of your energy away in, professions that you have no business being in, but you just need to do it in order to make the money. Because I find that if everyone were fully expressing who they were truly uniquely created to be and had the full freedom to do that, if all those barriers were eliminated, I believe that the world would be a different place. So truly, this is my life's work. But if any of this resonated with you, I invite you truly to apply to my program, the Next Big Name Bootcamp. It's an amazing program. I've hired instructional designers to help me design it. I mean, the video editing, everything is just really amazing, but it's something that I make continual upgrades to. We have another big upgrade that's getting ready to happen right before we get it certified. And so now is really the best time to get in, because you get access to those upgrades, later, even if you get in right now. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can go ahead and click the link below in order to apply. And if we think you are a good fit, we will invite you to a call with my enrollment team where we can talk more about the program. But that's all I had to say to you today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If not, just say ouch, but it's something that needed to be said. But if you're like, yes, I needed to hear this, go ahead and give this a thumbs up. And if you can't wait for my next YouTube video and you like these ramblings, then you should definitely check out my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show, on both iTunes and Spotify. And if you can't wait for my next rambly podcast or my next fiery YouTube video, then you can follow me on Instagram. It's CourtneyLSanders on Instagram. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.